Hey guys, it's Lauren from It's the Kellys, and today I am going to do a video all about layovers. Now this video is going to be a little bit more for beginners because there are a lot of viewers that haven't been on a plane before or that are just starting their international travel journey. So seasoned travelers, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Maybe this video can still help you a little bit, or maybe you have some advice for our new travel friends. So if so, stay tuned and let's talk all about layovers. Please make sure to subscribe to our channel if you want to travel often and pack well like we do. This is what we are all about, and we just want to help you. Okay, so a layover. What is it? Now, sometimes you want to go on vacation. Woo, vacation! But sometimes your home airport doesn't always go to your final destination without a layover. And that's okay. It's completely normal. You will have to go through an additional airport, and sometimes that's really fun, and I look forward to it, to be honest. As an example, let's use our honeymoon that we went on. We wanted to go from Detroit to Johannesburg, South Africa, but there is no direct flight from Detroit all the way to Johannesburg. So we had to go from Detroit to Newark, New Jersey, and then go to Johannesburg, South Africa. I've also been from Detroit to Amsterdam to South Africa, and that's completely fine. It breaks up the flight anyway and makes it a little bit more enjoyable, so you don't have to sit in your seat as long. Sometimes you might even get 2 to 3 layovers, which isn't always ideal, but depending on your destination, sometimes you have to fly between some major airports before going to a little airport. And it is a little bit more time consuming, but it's always cheaper, and if you're trying to do an inexpensive trip, sometimes that helps. So let's take this time to walk you through the process of your day when you have a layover or two. Okay, so let's start with domestic flights, which is within your country. As you probably know, the day before your flight, you do need to check into your flight. And this is important because this is what's going to give you your seat and alert the airline that you are indeed coming. Now, usually when you check in, it will give you a mobile boarding pass that you can have right on your phone with a little QR code. You can totally use that to go through security and get to your gate. And if you have a layover, sometimes it will give you both boarding passes digitally. That's great. If you're not checking a bag, you can use that boarding pass to go right through security and right to your gate. If you are checking a bag, then you will have to go to the baggage area where the gate agent will check your bag, weigh it, make you pay for it if you need to, and then they will give you both boarding passes that you need during your flight to get to your final destination. They will always ask you if you want both boarding passes, and the answer is yes, you do want both boarding passes. So once you get through security, whether you've checked your bag or you have your bag with you, you do want to go to the big, huge board that says departures. There's one that says departures and one that says arrivals. You want to look at departures because that is going to tell you where your gate is. Your gate is not always on your boarding pass, and it's not always updated in your app for your airline. So do go to the big departures board and look for the flight that your layover is going to be at. Do not look for your flight that is your final destination. That will not be on that board. Now, once you find that, you are going to head over to that gate. I always recommend heading over there first. You never know how big an airport is going to be. And then you can go and relax and go shopping or get some food or get some Starbucks once you see where your gate is. Do not underestimate the size of your airport. So most of the times with a layover, especially a domestic one, you are just going to land, get off the plane, and just go to your next gate. That's super easy. Now, sometimes that next gate can be right next door to the other gate, or sometimes it can be a 15-minute walk. Sometimes it can be in another terminal. Sometimes it can even be in another airport. I know, it's crazy. Now, you would probably know that upon booking the flight because they usually tell you like Warning, this layover is going to make you go to an additional airport. Warning. Not exactly like that, but pretty much. You will know if you have to go to another airport. So anyway, sometimes it's close and sometimes it's far. My number one piece of advice is during your layover, immediately go to your next gate because you just never know. And again, when you land, check those departure screens because gates may have changed or your boarding pass might not have the gate on there. Gates change all the time. It's extremely normal. When you land, check that departure gate, then head to the gate. Do not underestimate the size of an airport. For the second time in this video, I mentioned that. Can you tell that it's happened to me before? Just go to your gate, okay? Usually for domestic travel, you won't have to go through security again. Remember security, that area where you had to take off your shoes and your belt and show them your liquids and they might have patted you down and you had to go through a thing that looks like this? You might have to do that again. Usually during domestic travel, you won't have to, but if you have to go through another terminal, you never know. If you do have to go through security again, do make sure if you've purchased any water or any other type of liquid during your first flight that you do throw it out because the 311 liquid rule will apply again where you can only have under 3.4 ounces in one bag. Now, if you are in one of those big airports and you have to go to another terminal, just follow the signs. It's totally easy. Most of them, if you're going to another terminal, will be connected by some sort of train or tram. Just follow it. Ask someone for directions if you need to, and then get there. And if it helps, don't be afraid to research airport maps before you go. Sometimes I do if it's an airport that I'm unfamiliar with, because that can kind of show you what terminals and what gates are connected. Now, for international travel, it gets a little bit more confusing and a little bit more anxiety-driven and exciting. Now, generally, and depending on your route, you might have to go through customs and an additional security during a layover. Now, there are pros and cons to that, and really the only pro is you might get a stamp in your passport. I think I had about 7 or 8 stamps in my passport for Iceland before I actually ever went to Iceland because I was laying over there so often. Now, the cons to laying over in an additional country are the lines. If you do have to go through customs, and most of the time you will, those lines can be extremely long to the point where you might miss your flight. Here is my advice. I do not recommend under a 3-hour layover if you have to lay over in an additional country, especially if it is a really big airport such as Paris, Charles de Gaulle, because you cannot lay over there if you have less than 3 hours. It is so chaotic. You have to wait in so many lines. People are yelling at each other, especially if you checked a bag. It's a nightmare. Anyone that's laid over at CDG before knows exactly what I'm talking about. Put it in the comments if you have had a chaotic experience at CDG. And I love Paris more than probably anywhere else in the world, but I hate that airport. I hate it. Okay, rant over. Just remember to leave yourself a lot of time. So what I like to do is immediately get off the flight, probably go to the bathroom real quick because you never know how long you're going to be in line for, and that can be an issue, especially if you're solo traveling and you have to wait in that line and you really have to pee. Then I like to immediately go through customs. Immediately. Just do it. Do not stop. Do not shop. Do not go to a restaurant. Immediately go to the customs line and go towards your gate. Then once you clear customs, hopefully it's not long for you, but it probably will be. You might have to go through an additional security. Like I said, if you have purchased any water or liquid, make sure you get rid of it. And sometimes other countries are a lot more strict with their security than America. This is that point where if you overpacked your liquids, it will get thrown out. They are not messing around, especially in Europe. Now, if you have checked your bag, then clearly you haven't watched It's the Kellys enough. But anyway, if you've checked your bag, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you are going to have to go get your luggage from the baggage claim and then recheck it to get on your other flight. This isn't always the case, and when you go to check your bag, ask the person that's checking it if you're going to need to pick it up and recheck it during your layover or not. And that is one of 9,000 reasons why I don't check bags. I have seen multiple people miss their flights because of baggage recheck, because of customs, baggage recheck, and going through security again, all within less than 3 hours. That's why I made this video. Please just listen to me. It'll be a much nicer traveling experience. Now, this example that I just gave is why global entry is such an amazing thing to get. Global entry means that you are in a trusted traveler program within the United States. And that means only when coming back into the US, not when coming into another country. You skip the line through customs and you only have to do maybe about 5 minutes. They take your picture, recognize your face, recognize your fingerprints, and then they say, hey, welcome back, and you go. Your first point of entry coming back into the United States is where you have to clear customs. Like I said, sometimes it's 2 hours. If you have global entry, sometimes it's 5 minutes. You will have to re-go through security, and global entry comes with pre-check, so you don't have to wait in the long security line either. It is only $100 for 5 years. Even if you do one international flight a year, it is so worth it. Get global entry. I promise you it will change your life when it comes to travel. I do want to make another video soon about what to do during a long layover, because sometimes your layovers aren't just a couple of hours. Sometimes they are for 24 hours, or sometimes they are overnight. And that video can talk about lounges, what to do to kill the time, visas, and leaving the airport. Yes! Sometimes that is the best part about layovers. We'll talk about that in another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're subscribed to this channel. Drop me a comment down below and let me know where you're traveling this summer. And if you have a layover, maybe I've been there and I can help you out. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Bye!